have, but you also came out the gate, like even with your travel vlogs, with like the drone shots. And I don't have a drone yet. I've been meaning to buy one for forever, but the visuals alone with your videos are very engaging for me.
I'll see y'all boys tomorrow. We bring the mob out. We send the mob out. Fuck around, leave your job out. Hey, leave your job out. Hey, we bring the mob out. Hey, we send the mob out. Fuck around, leave your job out. All the niggas from the east side bring the bang on you.
What's going on, gang? So I have a new series that I wanted to start for you guys. It is the Channels You Should Watch series, or channel review series, however you'd like to refer to it. I've been wanting to do this since before I even had a YouTube channel. I think that there's some very special, may not be the right word, but very high quality creators and high quality channels that deserve to be looked at. And whether it be through me or however you find these channels, I think that it's important to shed a light on these creatives and kind of, if you're anything like me and you run out of things to watch on YouTube, maybe this will help you. Our first channel review is Mr. Tyrone Kent. He is a content creator who started the same time as I did, and his content is very thought-provoking. It's not superficial at all. He poses a lot of abstract questions and thought exercises. He's very candid. It's very well thought out, well written. His production value is actually incredibly impressive, and I just wanted to talk about it because there is a scenario in here which we'll mention that kind of made me a fan of his, and I really wanted to be able to share that with you, my audience. Before we continue, once again, thank you all. I appreciate you for giving me your time, for watching these videos, for liking, for subscribing to the channel. It has meant a lot to me as someone who doesn't even really think of themselves as a creative individual, but all the feedback, especially for the Rock Lee video, thank you. Thank you for everyone who commented as far as giving me critiques. I've read them, I've responded. I am looking forward to doing part 2, and I will keep your critiques in mind as I go through parts 2 and 3. Spoilers. But I did want to do this as well. It means a lot to me, as you will see.
Meanwhile,
so going through Tyrone Kent's channel, you can see he has, you can see here he is. He has 100 subscribers. He's put out 17 videos so far. Each of them, honestly, the average is about, actually, I'll put the average runtime over here somewhere probably. But he never shirks or never holds back the quality. And also on his shorts, you can see here, you know, he's got some, you know, body transformation stuff. He's been here for 3 years. Just taking a look at his stuff, right? We spoke about his production value. Just Like that short is great. See, this right here is what I'm talking about. Look at that. That is actually great. Come on, man. Yeah. This looks like an actual car commercial. Oh man. Hey, you get a little strong on here. Maybe. That man been eating and lifting. See, like, I appreciate someone who will put quality over quantity. And I mean, he's okay, so technically his channel has existed since 2016. But as you will see later, he has really, his first post was 2 months ago that we know of anyway. So, yeah. And without further ado, let's kick it over to Tyrone Kent.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the man himself, Mr. Tyrone Kent. Sir, thank you for spending the time.
Appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yeah. This is so exciting for me. Just really quick, kind of tell the people who you are and what you're doing right now.
I'm sorry, say that again. The audio broke out there a little bit.
My fault. Tell everyone what you're doing, where you are, because I mean we're across the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
So right now I'm living in Nevada, and it is in the middle of a desert, really. And I'm just out here, trying to make content that's relatable and connect with other people on a bit of a sentimental level, if you will, in my free time outside of what I do for work, so.
Yeah, you seem like a very busy dude. So, jumping right into it, your videos, again, I mentioned before we started recording this, your videos are very thought-provoking and very dense, almost like philosophical. Why did you choose that style? Especially the kind of style that keeps me up at like midnight, you know what I mean? Like what made you decide that I'm going all in on the vulnerability and the deep thoughts? What made that the choice?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. And honestly, I didn't intend for it to kind of be like super deep or like philosophical, like you put it. But that's at the same time, in watching some interviews of some of my favorite content creators, one in particular, Siobhan Salmon, and I've seen an interview of him, and he was just sharing his story, and I've seen other content creators talk about their story. It really motivated me to like decide to do that as well. I'm big into like storytelling and hearing about people's lives and things like that. I feel like that's an element that really connects and builds a strong community. So that's what motivated me. And so a lot of what I'm sharing are just things that are on my mind, really. It's nothing like there's definitely thought and planning that goes into it, but a lot of times it's like, I told you before, like I just have a journal, I write in the journal, and then
Yeah.
that's what I make a video, whatever I wrote down. So that's how I got to that style of content.
Okay. And I mean, I have these questions, but if you say something thought-provoking or interesting, I kind of want to dive into it too. Like, what made you get into journaling from the get-go? Because you seem like you've been doing it for a while, and it's not a habit that everyone has, but I think it's a good one. So like, what kind of took you in that direction? Besides, was it anything besides the book? Because I know you've got the book, and that's kind of instructing you. So
yeah, no, I've been journaling for I started a couple years back. I think when I was like 22, I want to say, I started journaling, and I've had several journals over the years. But then there's a period of time where I kind of just stopped doing that. I kind of went through. I had lost a loved one, and it kind of just threw me off my whole trajectory of like, because I've been very, very big on self-improvement, and that kind of like just knocked me off a little bit, and I stopped for a while. Then I moved out here, and just between doing my job and going to the gym, I still felt like there was just something that I needed more to express myself. I've always been a very expressive person, if that's the right.
For sure. You're a creator. You do have to express yourself.
And like I love expression. Exactly, you know what I mean? And that's just like another medium to express myself, outside of the content, videos and stuff. So that's how I got to that.
Damn. I mean, I don't journal, but now, after watching your stuff, I kind of want to. Do you ever go back and reread your stuff from when you were like 22 years old, or,
Unfortunately not, because all that stuff is packed up back at my dad's place.
Okay.
I couldn't take everything with me across the country, so a lot of that stuff is packed up. I do look forward to when I can go back and read it though. So
hey,
I'm definitely something I plan to do.
That's bad. That's dope. You know what I mean? Like, especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, but even the little bit of tidbits that you've given us from your content, you're from like the Connecticut area, Hartford area, right? And to move all the way across the country, it sounds like it was kind of like a split decision type thing. Like, I think that's very advantageous.
Definitely was, man. I was raised in Connecticut, born in Jamaica, and it was definitely a bit of a spontaneous decision.
That's fair. That's fair. So, I mean, because of the nature of your content, right, you do get very personal, and you've given tidbits throughout your content of, things that you've been through. This was a new nugget. I didn't know that you lost someone very, very close to you. I apologize. And you have my condolences for that. I didn't, you know what I mean? I've been studying your stuff. Like, what makes you so approachable, so transparent, even early on through your content?
Yeah, so I guess and if I'm understanding, you're asking like what makes me so open to making that type of content, right?
Yeah, man. Like, not everyone gets on the internet and just bears it all like that. People put up facades.
Yeah. 100%. And it's something I was super hesitant about because, like I've been interested in making content probably since I was like 12 years old, honestly.
Fair.
When I've been around since like the early YouTube days, but I never quite obviously like took it seriously until recently. And I guess my desire to wanting to be vulnerable like that is like I was saying earlier, man, like I think that vulnerability is a bridge to just our overall humanity, and I like to see me when I go on and I'm watching people's content, I connect most with the people that I feel like are just being real and have had struggles, have had adversities. And my goal was to, so you hear so much about people that been through certain things and by a young age they're like a multi-millionaire or something like that, and that's cool, and I am much respect to it, but it's not necessarily relatable, you know.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's not like relatable, you know what I mean? But a story about someone who's been through the adversity, maybe overcame certain things, and still not quite where they want to be, but are still resilient enough to continue to strive for that kind of ideal, whatever that ideal may be for that person. That's a lot more relatable story, you know what I'm saying? Is still being resilient despite not having reached a goal by an expected, point in time, and maybe you're not completely satisfied with the way your life is going and things like that, but you still find a way or a reason every day to get up and try again, you know what I mean? So that's why I was like, yo, I'm gonna just do my best to like lay it all out there, and whoever it connects with, that's who it connects with,
Yeah, that is 100% facts. And as you're saying this, I'm thinking about one of your first videos that you made where you were telling us about the goal of your content. I think you do a good job of stating or reiterating the goal of your content in every video in different forms. Like you always tell us, like, this is for, like, it's not for my family. This is for a stranger who, you know what I mean, maybe down and out or maybe questioning themselves. You made a whole video about imposter syndrome, which I respect because I have that shit every day, but no one will ever know.
Yeah, man, that was a tough one. I wasn't sure if I should hit the share button on that one, but
but you did, and I'm glad that you did, and people will gravitate toward that because it is real. It is a thing that's clear and present, especially in what we're trying to do. You seem like a very ambitious individual, and people who are ambitious and who are more intelligent are more likely to come across these barriers dealing with mentality, things like depression and anxiety, because you're more aware not only of yourself, but of the landscape. And that comparative aspect is innate to that awareness, and it brings on things that you didn't even see coming. So
100%.
You know what I mean? I respect it. And that's honestly one of my favorite videos that you've ever done. And I think it was cool also because you told me either right before or after you dropped it, you were like, damn, bro, like I just watched this dude make a viral video and I knew that shit was gonna pop. And then you just, you internalize those feelings and you turn it into something very positive, like right like that. And I think that that's cool to tell. You know what I mean? Being that you are so vulnerable, and of course, this is a weird question because I'm asking you something kind of contradictory, but like, is there a barrier for you that you just don't want to cross? You don't want people to know these things about you? Because, I mean, you kind of ripped the Band-Aid off and just have been vulnerable from day one.
Yeah. No, that's a good question as well, because it's funny you asked. That's literally something. It's a point that I'm at right now with the content where I'm like, how vulnerable am I going to get on this thing? Just how deep are we going to go? And the reality is, I think the deeper we go, the more beneficial it could be to somebody else that might be watching it. But at the same time, dealing with that whole imposter thing. And to your point, like you said, like being someone that's a bit, intelligent and at the same time wanting to be expressive and share things, it's like, there's this saying that I was just saying to one of my homeboys where it's like there's a joy to being seen, but then there's a pain of being perceived.
I've never heard that before, but that's actually a bar.
It's actually
a bar.
It is a real challenge with being like someone who is a creative, but at the same time a bit intellectual. It's like you want to be seen, you want to be, show your work and things like that, but you also hate the idea of people perceiving you through the filters of whatever it is that is their own reality or things like that, and it's one thing to be seen for you, it's another thing to be perceived through somebody else's lens. You know what I mean?
That's
You can't have one without the other.
You can't.
You know? So
you
it's
can't.
like,
and I'm so glad that you said that, because I'm not gonna hold you, man. Like, sometimes I see creators like yourself and other people who get very deep and philosophical, and there's a level of fearlessness that you have to have, right? Because
100%.
people can see that and then automatically just put you in a box. Like, oh, this is the Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, flat earther, you know, open your eyes type dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So there definitely is, I think, a point that I've hit where I'm like, even though it's very early, where I'm already thinking about like, how far am I going to go? But I do want to share more and get more vulnerable. I'm just at a point where I'm trying to think of, all right, how am I going to go about sharing that story? Because I still haven't feel like I haven't completely, I've given bits and pieces like you said, but I haven't like laid out like from A to Z, here's my story, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we don't
I don't
have
know, man.
That story just yet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think there's quite a limit just yet on how far I'll go, but there are a few things I have been holding back for a variety of different reasons. But the main one being like that, you know, contradiction between being seen and being perceived. So yeah.
Nah, that's a bar. You should put that on a t-shirt. I'm not even gonna hold it. Given that you dropped that nugget of knowledge, which I'm grateful for, that brings me to the next question is, what do you want people to take away from watching your content? You put a lot of effort into it. Watching your very first video where you were like in your bunk or in your room, I think the same one that you're in right now.
Yeah, same one, yeah.
But then you're like, bro, the shots that you've been able to put together, like the outside car shots, the transitions, like there's an eye-opening cut that you have when you open one of your most recent videos. Like, the amount of growth from you in the span of a few months is insane. What do you want people to take away from the stuff that you're putting out, though?
Yeah, that's a great, you got, like I said, you got great questions right now.
I appreciate it.
I guess what I would want people to take away is, it's a couple of things, right? Like I was saying, I want people to be able to watch my content and connect to some parts, either a bit or piece of my story, the whole story, whatever it is that relates to them in particular. And there's a video that I made on what makes you unique, where I kind of touched on this as well, where for a long time, I feel like I didn't know what made me unique. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of if I look at my parts of my life, you know, everyone can relate, or there's millions of people that share that kind of like particular quality. But it's only like my life as a whole, and you know, through my own lens or experience that makes it unique to me. And I just want people to be able to like watch my stuff, hear my story, hear what I have to say, and like, oh, like, okay, I'm not alone. You know, I'm not alone. It sounds cliche, but like, you know, I'm going through that too, or I feel that similar kind of thing, and or whatever it may be. You know, it's just wanting people to take away that despite what hiccups or, you know, setbacks we might have, you know, going for us, you know, there's definitely a benefit or positive outcome to those setbacks. Okay. It makes me think of, and not to get like too deep or spiritual right now, but I can't help but go here. But it makes me think of like kind of like the story of Christ almost, right? I'm not gonna get hyper religious, but hear me out. Stay with me. And the representation of, like, I've heard this one person talk about the representation of the cross, and what that is like the cross represents us bearing our suffering in humanity. And you know, we all go through things in life that, you know, if you understand anything about like Buddhism or, you know, Christianity or any kind of religion, it talks about that mutual suffering that underlies reality in our lives that we all go through. And that is, again, the bonding thing for all of us, is what we endure is what makes us human, you know. And sometimes we can, with social media, we get caught up in the highlights and comparing, and like, you know, my life looks nothing like that, or this and that, and but like, no, but we all suffer, you know what I mean? And no one's gonna compare each other's suffering and be like, oh, my suffering is worse than your suffering. Suffering is suffering, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a fact.
Struggle is struggle. Are there degrees of struggle? Absolutely.
Sure.
But we all can relate to what that pain feels like, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, what I would want people to take away, is like, the pain is what bonds us, you know?
Damn, that's crazy. Okay, so have you studied Buddhism at all? Because every person who watches this will now be one step closer to Nirvana. Wow, you just cooked. Okay.
Yeah, I've read quite a few books on Buddhism, a couple of books. Yeah.
Hey, shout out you, man. We can tell. We can tell. Damn. I didn't expect this to get that deep. But I'm glad that we went there. No, it's cool. I'm glad we went there.
Sorry, I'm about to get this deep on you, bro.
Nah, bro, it's good. It's fine. Honestly, it's just true to who you are, and you know, that's why we see it in your content. Like, I mean, you're right about suffering being a guarantee in life, and that is a staple of Buddhism. It's a staple of, you know, any life. And of course, like you said, there are degrees of suffering, but I think that's why people love stories where it's a cliche thing, but it's true. Like, we love underdog stories, right? Like someone who's had their ass kicked, or, you know, has just been through so much but is able to come out on top in spite of. Those are the people we root for. We don't root for the people who had it from day one. Yeah, exactly. And to add to that, it had me even thinking of making a video just about, like, and I was gonna title it maybe something like, I haven't thought of the title, but it's gonna be something along the lines of like, what's the appeal to anime? Because that's part of like what makes anime so amazing. You know what I mean? Is that underdog, like, because I started watching Solo Leveling the other night. You know, and I'm watching this, I'm like, bro, this is this underdog, this like down and out, this weakest hunter alive, you know. We've all felt some degree of that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Some more than others, but like, to see that and like watch them turn their lives around and become, like, through nothing but just grit and hard work and dedication, distance, that's inspiring to a lot, you know, to all of us, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we love the underdog. So I can't cheese harder if I tried. Like, I literally hold on, I'm finna share something with you. And it's crazy that you say that, bro. Hold on, dog. That is... I literally wrote a video of where I recorded it, maybe. But I have a list of characters that I want to do character breakdowns for. And then I recorded a video on why I love anime. And just like you said, it is intrinsically tied to how most anime characters have arcs that they start out one place, they go through a lot, their whole world's flipped upside down, they go through a metamorphosis of some kind, and then they come back on the other side completely different. That is insane. I was watching it, and to even like the Rock Lee video that you just made, you know, that just was watching, you know, like, he's a great, him and Guy Sensei are like great examples of that. Obviously, Naruto himself is the like pinnacle of that underdog, whatever, but, you know, Rock Lee's one of those, you know, hidden gems in that show that really embody that. Dead ass. You know what? All right, here, I'm about to share my screen. And I'm gonna have to blur out most of these, because then people will absolutely positively know what's coming, and that's not cool. We want surprises, but I definitely want you to take a look and you can tell me. Can you see it? Yeah. All right. So we don't have to read them out loud. You can just kind of look at them And like you see this list, I'm going to go in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some great characters on there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are anime characters. Most of them have like a redemption arc or something. Real life people in here, as you can clearly see, who are still motivated. Like, and I think those are going to be the most in-depth ones, right? Because those people actually lived it. It's one thing to, you know, create a story in your head, but to actually have it play out in real life is completely different. So the fact that you just said that, and when did I write this list? A week ago. I wrote this list a week ago. That's crazy, man. See that, sir, you are one of a kind, and I appreciate that. Oh, that made my day. I appreciate that. No, seriously, that was a gem. Like, you are full. So do you give your friends advice? Like, do your friends come to you for advice, or like when they're going through stuff, are you like the go-to sage of your group?
Sage is crazy. At one point I would say so, you know. Obviously I don't live with any of my friends anymore. I've kind of, for lack of better words, left it all behind. But at a point in time, yeah, you know, I'd always and I said this in my most recent video.
You got one person that you rock with out there. You did say that in your most recent one.
Yeah, that too. And at the end, I was just explaining how, you know, I've always been that person to speak life over the people that I care about. Because I've always had like this bigger vision for myself in life, and I love the people that I love, and I want the best for them. So I do my best to like give them these gems and, you know, the little bit of wisdom that I do have. So yeah, I would say at some point I was definitely that guy that, you know.
I think you still are. I mean, especially the way you talking and kicking knowledge right now. And the only thing I'm doing is making sure that Zoom doesn't cut this call short.
I appreciate it.
I don't have
that pro feature, right?
Yeah, man. They're gonna get this money today. I don't want it to cut off.
Yeah. All right.
But no, like, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. And so because you're starting a new journey with your channel, right? Like you, Tyrone Kent, the person, and, you know, your channel, of course, are two separate entities. You as a person have already overcome a lot of obstacles, as you've hinted at. What do you foresee, or have you already encountered obstacles for your channel? I mean, right off rip, not everybody is going to like deep, thought-provoking stuff, but that, honestly, those kind of people I feel like you don't want in your community. Might get in the way or hinder, or just things that you have to overcome being who you are and your channel being what it is.
Yeah, the only real obstacles you know, and I don't know if they're actual obstacles or just mental obstacles, but in starting this, I want to be able to, like you said earlier, put out a certain level of quality, which ultimately reduces the quantity that I can put out that quality.
Fair.
And and like I mentioned earlier, I think before we started the interview, in doing this reel alone that I've been doing, it's been taking me forever. And it's because I'm really trying to push the boundaries of my cinematography and like getting the right camera angles and redoing things that, even though I might think, oh yeah, this is a good shot, I'm like, all right, but how can we do it better? You know, and just really pushing the boundaries of like how good I can really be for something. So I want to be able to bring in a visual storytelling element into my videos in the near future, besides just like the talking headshot. Kind of like how you tried something a little different with your Rock Lee video, and you were doing like, it was mostly just all B-roll, and then like the one shot of you at the end, you know, the talking headshot. So I want to do something similar with like having just more B-roll footage and using that visual storytelling element while also, you know, having the audio overlay over that. So that's been like the obstacle, is just just trying to put out better quality, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like it kind of slows me down a little bit. And sometimes if you go too long without posting something, you might get into a fog of like, yo, what am I doing? It's like,
Fair.
you know what I mean? Like it's yeah. So that's probably the only obstacle I'm dealing with right now.
So would you say that the creative process has brought the perfectionist out in you? Because that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like, you know what I mean? Like you'll look at something and you're just like, if you're anything like me, when I think of something that I want to do creatively, I already have how I want it to look in my head, and then I have to kind of reverse engineer how to get there, right?
100%, 1000%, bro. It's brought out the perfectionist. I'll get something and I'm in the moment, I'm like, oh, this is the shot. Then I go and I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I hate this. This sucks. Like, you know what I mean? This is terrible.
That's fair.
And then I'm like, we got to do this again. And then I'm recording. It's like, it'll be a 30-second shot and it takes me 2 hours for that 30 seconds.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, you know, so I literally got to go do some filming today with one of the homies that's helping me out. So it's definitely brought out the perfectionist in me. So that's been like the biggest obstacle is like dealing with that, you know.
So yeah. I guess the next question, again, going off script, what would be a thing or what could kind of curb that? Like when you're a creative person, you oftentimes hear people either going all the way off the rails and just doing whatever their mind tells them, or they have a team of people who kind of just like know, they grow with you and they kind of get to know your creative style and what you're good with, what you're not good with, when to tell you to, you know, that this is good enough. Like, how do you think, because you're venturing into Kendrick territory, dropping every 2 years or so, like how do we keep you from getting all the way there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm trying to figure that out myself, and I think you kind of answered it in, you know, Yo,
my bad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That was all my fault. We were on a good roll, and I was so engrossed I forgot that I actually had to give a company money to keep it going. My fault. But
yeah, I thought we had more time.
Me too, but you know, that's how to get you. It's okay. We were talking about the creative process and being a perfectionist, and you said that you've already kind of gotten to the point where, you know, you are working with people who you want to maybe possibly grow with, and that can kind of realize your style. Were you going in a direction where you've already identified those folks?
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think you answered that with saying that is that's the best way to keep me from like derailing like that, is if I had a team of even if it was just like 3 people, 2 people that are, you know, at a similar level as myself, maybe a little bit further ahead, nothing crazy, and that you know, similar goal with making content, and I could be like, hey, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got, what do you think? You know, should I push it further, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But since I don't really have that, it's just me and me. And, you know, I can be like my own worst critic sometimes. You know, and, you know, obviously, and I take that back, because, you know, there's definitely been times where I've reached out to you even and been like, hey, like, what do you think of this? And, you know, what may have you. But at the same time, I'm hesitant to like reach out sometimes.
Yeah.
To just like anyone in general, because also as a creative, there is the whole thing of like, you know, making something that has a certain vision to it. And sometimes you can ask other people like, hey, like, what do you think of this? And they might not see the vision that you're trying to, or understand the message that you're trying to convey, but at the same time, you might think you're doing something and you're conveying this message, but really it's coming off this way. And it's like, it is quite the balance there,
yeah, it is a balancing act. And to what you just said, sometimes you have to keep what you're doing and what you're creating kind of guarded, because if you do expose it to outside influences like other people's critiques, I mean, I welcome critique because I want to get better. But when people, there's a line that I haven't found yet, where if you put it out there and you're like, hey, what do you think? And people just add on to it so much, it no longer becomes your content or your vision or your baby. It's you and this person's now. You know what I mean? So I think that I respect the fact that for the most part, you have done things what feels like your way already. And you know, I mean, it is, let's be real, it's the way we cross paths was so happenstance, but so cool, because I hope you don't mind me sharing this, right? Like, you reached out to me when I was just getting started, right? And my YouTube link wasn't working in my Instagram description. Now, the average person who has like a short attention span or just doesn't really care could have seen that, been like, this nigga doesn't know what he's doing, and just kept throwing about your day. But you hit me and you said, hey, yo, bro, like, I don't know if you know this, but your drawing's not working. And I was like, wow, like, you really took the time. It seems very small, but the fact that you took time out of your day to make sure that I was okay to succeed in what I was trying to do is what made me a fan of you as a person, because not everyone does that. And that level of genuine is hard to find, especially when you're going through like this creative process, because you also said, and I think I've already said this, but you don't make videos for your family, right? You don't do it for your family and friends. You do it for other people who, you know, maybe aren't so closely attached to you as a person and maybe just want to latch on to what you're putting out, right? And I think that, I really want you to, like, I want you to succeed however that takes shape. And I really wish that, especially after watching your last video, there were a couple people out where you are who were cool enough and genuine enough to kind of see what it is that you've got going on and just help you out in whatever way that you need them to, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dog. Yeah. And I mean, like, you've hit 100 subs. You did it the old-fashioned way, just hard work and sweat, putting, you know, time in on your craft. I appreciate the behind-the-scenes stuff, you know what I mean, that you be putting on your Instagram, like letting people know, giving people updates. I think I started doing that after seeing you do that. So full credit to you.
Yeah, just do that to, you know, let people know that it's taking forever, but I promise I'm working on it.
There's a reason for it, yes. So being as though you've already kind of got your style, you know who you are as a person, you seem very comfortable in who you are as a person and what you're trying to do. What have been some of the highlights of your journey as a content creator already?
Real simple, honestly, just having an outlet for myself, for that you know, need to express and do something, having a side project that I can work on in my free time, because living where I'm currently living right now, there really isn't anything to do. You know, I come from very big cities, you know, used to being in very big cities where there's always something to do, and now being out here, it is just a lot of dirt and mountains. So that's all there is for, like, the closest city to me is 60 miles away.
Damn.
Yeah. So
how do you get doing groceries and shit?
I mean, there's like grocery stores, but it's such a small town that all they have is like, all right, little sidetrack right now, but
go for it.
Before I moved here, I went on YouTube and I was looking at, like, things to do in X city or, X town. And one of the highlights of the YouTube video was that they have a super Walmart. I'm like, that's it. That's the most exciting thing about this place.
Yeah, you can get your vegetables and your tires rotated all at the same spot.
I was like, what the but anyways, that's one of the benefits, the highlights to doing this is I just have an outlet for creativity again, which is something. And I've always been an artist like my whole life. I went to art school for a semester or whatever.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got this I had like a whole scholarship, but for different reasons I didn't end up finishing.
That's fine.
And yeah. So I've just always been an artist, always been a creative. So this is now like I have a new outlet for creativity, which I've needed for a long time. So
damn, that's crazy. I'm sorry. Like, you said that so casually as if it's not like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, that is huge. You got a scholarship to an art school and you did that for a little bit. Like, that's not everyone does that. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. It was pretty cool. Yeah, what the hell? Where was it?
Somewhere in Connecticut. Just it was some private school in Connecticut. So
okay. Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, shit. I guess that makes sense because, I mean, you do have a flair for creativity. I already mentioned the shots that you have, but you also came out the gate, like even with your travel vlogs, with like the drone shots. And I don't have a drone yet. I've been meaning to buy one for forever, but the visuals alone with your videos are very engaging for me. And now that you say that you have an artistic background, it just makes so much sense. I don't know. Like everything kind of fits into place for me. But that's cool. Did you get another drone, by the way? Because I know the other one.
I did end up getting another one. And it's I ended up getting another one, and I have not used it once yet. So damn. I'm like, damn, I could have held off on buying this other drone, but it is what it is. But in the summertime, when I go up to because I live pretty close to Lake Tahoe, so there's gonna be some fire videos in the summertime for sure.
Oh, say less. Yeah. Damn, that's cool as hell. So, wow. I mean, you kind of already answered this question, but I was going to ask you next, like, what made you start creating content? Like, what made you press record? But you said that you've always had a creative outlet. Can you speak more to that? Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know. It started at a very early age, and despite the misconception that you're either artistic or you're not. I didn't start off like being good at art, you know what I mean? As a kid, it took years of practice before I think where I noticed as a kid that, I'm pretty good at this was probably somewhere in the 6th grade, where I did this drawing of like Naruto, and I was so impressed by myself. I don't have the book. I would show it to you, but it's back at my dad's. But
damn.
Yeah, that's when I noticed, and I just continued to practice, and I'll say maybe some people have an inclination to something where there's left brain and right brain people, where some people are more analytical in their thinking, where others are more abstract in their thinking. So naturally they're drawn to abstract things such as different art forms, different forms of expression, different forms of whatever type of creativity. And even that's where you get that saying, the art of something versus the science of something, because there's an art to making videos, and there's a science as well. You know what I mean? So, and it really depends on what approach you take to that. So always having, been that creative, I've always been looking at, been an abstract thinker, which is what even brings me to why I have such these like deeper, more like existential kind of ways of thinking about things, is because, again, I'm more of being that, I believe it's the right brain that is the more abstract thinking, and the left brain is the analytical one. But just being more of that right brain.
But
is it switched?
So go ahead, because I want to say something after you finish your thought. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, whichever one it is, being that more abstract thinker is what draws me towards art and just like things that are more abstract in thinking and deeper thoughts and things like that. So, and then, like I said, I was going to art school. I had gotten a scholarship to art school. It was probably during high school. I applied to like 5 different schools. I was big into fashion. I was trying to get into a fashion school, really.
Whoa.
And I got accepted to every single one that I applied to.
Like flex.
They all, they all accepted.
Type shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I couldn't go to, there was one, I think it was FIT in New York, and there was another one in Los Angeles that I really wanted to go to, but my parent at the time didn't want me to go, so I settled for the art school that was like close to where I live. And it was a scholarship for like half of the tuition. And which was somewhere around like, it was like 66,000 or something like that. So like then the scholarship was for 33,000 for 4 years or whatever.
Damn.
And I just never ended up, I couldn't figure out the whole FAFSA thing and things like that. And shortly after that, I was living on my own at 19 and just going through a bunch of things where there were so many life stresses. I didn't feel like, I was so bogged down by life stresses in adulthood. I didn't have like I couldn't find the like space to create anything. Like the stress like felt like it hindered my creativity and my desire to want to create anything. I was just like every day just like, yo, where am I gonna sleep or what am I gonna eat? You know what I mean? I could care less about like making something, you know what I mean? Like I could care less about creative. I was just like, yo, I need to survive, you know? And then finally at 25, after, joining and, kind of moving out and getting a better stable career, is where I now find myself like, man, I'm not stressing about the same things I used to stress about anymore. I need something. I need like a creative outlet, you know what I mean? And now here I am, doing this again. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but that's the journey of my.
That was an answer enough. No, I appreciate you sharing that, and because you shared that, okay. I'm going to keep my other question in the back of my head because I think that's important. But to your point, I also was on my own at 18. And I don't think that a lot of people can really kind of understand. So I'm from Philly and I went to college in New Orleans. Colleges, for anyone who does not know, do not play about their money, right? So I'm getting notices, and you said, are you a first generation college student?
Yeah.
See, you said you couldn't figure out the FAFSA thing. I get you on that one. Also first generation college student. And I remember my English teacher first semester pulled me aside and said, hey, like, you're bright, but I need you to kind of dial it in and, just be here, be present, all these things. And I literally remember telling her, I don't know if I'm going to be here this semester or next semester. I'm worried as hell. And hearing you say what you just said just kind of took me back to that. So I appreciate you sharing that. And it sounds like you're in a better position in life now to where you can kind of focus. It sounds like before you were on survival mode, and now that you're kind of out of that and you're more so thriving, you now can pay attention to the artistic side of your life that may have been neglected when you were just out here surviving. Does that make sense, or is that fair to say?
That is exactly what it is, man. You nailed it on. That's exactly what it was.
All right, I appreciate that. The second question: are you left or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed. No fucking way. I'm also left-handed.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's why I said I believe if I remember correctly, people who write with their left hand typically think with the
their
right
brain.
side.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
You're a very well-read and intelligent young man. Yes, that is exactly true. And I don't know if you've read this book already or if you want to take this as a reading recommendation, but there is a book. I'll send it to you. There's a book about left-handed people growing up in a right-handed world. And I'm not about to get on the soapbox of like, woe is us, right? But you said that you felt your artistic awakening in like 6th grade. I made my 3rd grade art teacher quit. I was so bad. Shout out Miss Wexler. I'm sorry. She dead ass quit because of me, bro. I was awful.
Hey, yo.
All of my homies that went to school with me know this. I was never really artistically inclined either. You know what I mean? I was more so just a nerdy ass kid. But like you said, when you kind of go through and you experience life and you're not necessarily worried about where your next meal's coming from or how your bills are paid, you have a chance to kind of cater to your more deeper thoughts, your more deep thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's cold. Damn. Okay. I'm trying to kind of calm down because I just think that this is a really dope conversation. But
yeah, it's fire, bro. I'm jacking it for real. I'm jacking it.
So I appreciate that. I feel like you're going to be in a really cool place maybe a year or 2 from now where you have a community full of people who are they don't even have necessarily be like-minded, but just can appreciate the things that you say. I think that unfortunately there's a concept on the internet that most people abide by where if you don't agree, that makes you enemies for some reason.
Yeah.
But you can correct me if I'm wrong. You don't seem like the type of person who really cares about that or like whether or not people agree with you.
Nah, not at all. And it's like I said, similar to how I was saying, like I don't make it for friends and family. I don't make it to be agreed with either. You know what I mean? It's like if you agree, awesome. If you don't, perfect. We need
discourse,
opposing opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need discourse. It's what evolves us. It was what pushes us forward. So
yeah,
cool.
100%. So that is such a cool concept, and I can't imagine. Sidebar: when you get to a certain level on your channel, Tyrone Kent, I need you to just go ahead and launch a podcast. Just go ahead and do that on the side. You know what I mean? Because I would watch that shit for hours.
Yeah.
But okay, given that you've kind of disclosed your creative process and your almost perfectionist mentality, given the body of work that you put out thus far, what are you most proud of? What do you feel most accomplished that you've released?
That is a tough one. What do I feel? That's a tough one. So I guess the one that when I initially put it out, I was the most proud of, and then after it was out, I was like, oh, this is terrible. This sucks. I was proud of the Florida vlogs, the travel vlogs.
All of them.
Yeah, like the travel vlogs that I was doing. My first time out in Tampa and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be like, a cool thing to watch, to look back on. But then I realized, like, nobody really cares about a vlog if they don't know who you are already. Like, if you aren't already kind of like established within a community or, have a community there, but nobody wants to see you just like some random guy just go out and like have a good time, out in Florida if they don't already have like some kind of relationship to you. So,
okay.
That's, I don't know if that answers that question.
No, yeah. It does. It does for sure. But I think, and it's crazy that you say that because I appreciated it when you dropped it, because I'm thinking like, honestly, your first couple videos, the Florida vlogs aside, you seem very to yourself, and you seem like you don't go outside. Don't take that as, and no offense was meant by that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
But to see you like out there, like someone was giving you shit for flying your drone, and then you went to the bars afterwards. You know what I mean? You're like interviewing people, telling them say what's up to the camera and stuff. Like to see you get out of a shell that may not have even existed. I just kind of put that on you, and for that I apologize. But to see you do that was really cool. Yeah. I did perceive you that way. You know what I mean? Call it like you see it. I think it was cool, and I think that please leave those up, because as you grow and as you continue to do what you do, I feel like people will kind of gravitate back toward them and be like, okay, like this is a complete human being. This is not just, a walking think tank named Tyrone Kent.
Right.
Like this is
and I'll definitely leave them up there. And just in us talking about it, like, I'm just going back and looking at it, like they're like, out of all the videos I have, they're like they probably have the least amount of views out of any other video. But like you said, I'll still leave them up there because I think it is a change of pace than all of my other stuff, which can be a lot heavier, a lot more thought-provoking and things like that, where that's just like some lighthearted, like here's me having a good time, like kind of content, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely leave it up there, and like you said, like, as things progress, that'll be something to go back and look at. So yeah,
for sure. Because I think when people hear, or when people look for resources when it comes to creating content and kind of going down that road, I don't know if you've heard this already, but a lot of people say find your niche, right? Like find your niche and double down on it. Yeah,
that's a big thing I've heard.
And I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand for marketing purposes why it's important. And for you, like, you've exhibited, even in the same video, you've exhibited maybe like 4 different niches in one video, right? Like one of your earlier videos, you started with like your morning routine, and like you're brushing your hair, you go to the bathroom, then you go to the gym, then you like go to the store. And I'm like, this could be like a motivational, like lifestyle kind of thing. Like we have people who do that, like you just film your goings on, but then you kind of take a break to kind of speak what's on your mind and kind of like the things that you're going through that day in the middle of this video that could be taken for like maybe a David Goggins style, Andrew Huberman style video. Like I think that the very candid way that you approach your stuff is noteworthy, and I think that that is one of the things to to your part about setting yourself apart from other people. I think that's what sets you apart, is the fact that you kind of already have exhibited being multifaceted, which is dope.
I appreciate that.
Of course, I don't think that you should change that at all. Not saying that you considered it, but you know what I mean. I have another very interesting question for you. So, being as though you've been honing your craft and your editing has gotten way better, what are you most excited for going forward? Like, what are you excited to do? Like a project you're working on? I know this reel is coming eventually, and maybe that's the answer, but what are you most excited for, maybe even further down the line, to be able to create?
Yeah. To, like you said, the thing I'm excited for is just, like I was saying earlier, just upping my visual storytelling. Because, I love writing and telling stories, and I love to capture visuals. You know what I mean? That's like they're just art forms that I'm excited about and passionate about. So I'm excited to just continue to learn more about, how to point and shoot a camera, getting better equipment. At some point, I want to get like a second phone or like just a camera or something where I can do like multiple angles, like 2 angles at once kind of thing. So I think that'll just open up opportunities for, more creative kind of shots. And like I said, in making this one reel, I've already have 2 other ideas for another reel that I want to put out. So I'm just the most excited about just upping up my production value in all facets. I think that's such a captivating part of what I do, and that is the best way I can put out something of value to the people, is in upping the production and just being more thoughtful in how what I'm choosing to share and how I share the story, how I tell the story.
Damn, that makes a lot of sense. And honestly, I'm right there with you. I've been completely using my iPhone for all of this thus far. I do have a camera and I've only used it once. And I told you I was actually getting another camera. I actually have a recommendation from a cinema quality photographer from the city of Philadelphia who I reached out to. He was gracious enough to kind of get connected with me, and I'm going to share that information with you too, because I think that you can put that to great use. But yeah, I mean, I respect the hunger that you have for the creative process, and I think that after a while, the amount of quality is going to be undeniable. Like, there have been videos that I've put out, full transparency, that looking back on them, like you said, I'm just like, I could have done this better. I won't take it down.
Yeah.
But I think now just trying to be as consistent as possible while hitting that high mark of quality, whether it be audio or visually, is like the thing, like the next step for me. Is there a favorite comment or feedback that you've gotten from the body of work that you've put out, from, a complete stranger or a family member, whomever? Has someone given you feedback that you're like, damn, like I appreciate that. This is nice. This is exactly what I wanted.
I don't know if there's a favorite comment. I think I just enjoy. I will say actually, yeah. I did get it was from one of my videos, and it was watch this if you're ever feeling worthless. And I had someone the next morning after I put that video up. I had an old friend that, I haven't probably know them for like 10 plus years, but we live in different states and everything, and we don't communicate regularly. But he watched that video and he texted me, and he was just like, yo, like I needed to see this video. Like, it really I forgot exactly what he said, but he was just saying like it just really kind of like made him feel better, because he's been going through a certain, like, whatever type of mental rut, and me putting that out, helped him feel like, okay, like I'm not going crazy, so. And it was just so random and out the blue, I mean, I wasn't, I didn't know he would be reaching out to me, so I really appreciated that. And even just like, us being on this interview right now is also something that I really appreciate from, because these are the type of connections I want to be able to make in just sharing content, what I'm saying, and meeting people like yourself, or having someone like him that reached out and texted me. So seeing those little bits here and there is what I enjoy.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be too light-skinned right now, but I think that this has been one of my favorite things that has come out of this whole YouTube creative journey. This is going to be like, I have a lot of shit that I want to do, but this now takes it's number one. Like I have to finish this video before I do Rock Lee Part 2 or anything else. So I very much appreciate you like actually taking the time to, because I know you're busy. I know you got shit to do. Thank you, because this has been amazing. And you just seem like a cool ass dude. I told you that from the beginning. And yeah, I mean, like your content, it's not like for the faint of heart. It's not for people who have a short attention span, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have a place. And you know, people like myself and the friend that you just mentioned, like, you know what I mean? That I feel like that's dope as hell. You know what I mean? Like are y'all gonna hang out like whenever you go back home, or you know, would you make time to?
Oh no, I mean, he doesn't even live back in the state that we grew up in. He lives in Florida right now, so
hey,
yeah, I'll probably, I won't say I'll never see him again, but you know, I'm not gonna, you know, put my hopes up that we'll ever connect. If we connect, we connect, because I definitely plan on going back to Florida sometime. But I mean, even if I don't see certain people, as long as like we can, you know, text or call away, you know what I mean? That's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, he had your number this whole time, so.
Yeah, if I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
That was cool as hell. Has anything caught you by surprise? Maybe that would be it, but has anything caught you by surprise going through this creative journey? Has anything, you know, you didn't consider, or maybe a pleasant surprise has kind of happened?
Just the workload that this shit takes, dude. Just the workload is what caught me. Like, I mean, prior to doing it, you know, not that I thought like it was fucking a cakewalk, but I definitely was like, how hard could it be?
Right.
How hard could it be to make some content? You know, I mean, press record. You know, you say some stuff. You have maybe you have a script. Dude, this shit. It is no joke. Oh my gosh. But like, I love the labor though. It's a labor of love. You know
Yo, for real.
It is a labor of love, but damn, that caught me off guard. So that's probably it right there. It's just,
that's fair.
I don't know if I told you already, but just for the reel that I was doing, it took me roughly like 82 hours, 96 hours. It took me a full 8 days. Now, obviously, I didn't spend every waking hour.
Yeah, not consecutively, but overall.
But yo, it's like 8 days. For 8 days, I was writing this script for a 2-minute video.
Damn.
8 days. And even after writing the script, there's still moments where I'm like, nah, I can do that differently. Nah, let's try something else. That didn't work out. It's like what you have conceptually versus practically, it's like two different things, dude. So
yeah, it's a completely different beast. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Most recently, the video I did about the hero from my town who shielded his sister from plane shrapnel. The intro, just the intro, which is like 20 seconds, took me 2 hours. It took me 2 hours.
Sounds about right.
For like 20 seconds that people kind of won't even pay attention to, for real.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like, and if you don't like do this shit for real, like you don't appreciate the effort that goes into like 20 seconds of a clip. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, you just brush it off. But like, I put hours into those 20 seconds.
Yo, dead the fuck ass. It's kind of like when you are a patron of like a store or a service versus like working there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, exactly. Right, exactly. That's what it's like. Yep.
It's like if only y'all fucking knew. But with that being said, I do this is I think one of the most important questions is, given how much time and effort you put into your stuff, what deserves the most? Like, what should people watch? Like, what should people look out for? And what have you done that deserves more love? Like, yo, come on, like, appreciate this shit. Like, you see what I just did? Like, you not to sound entitled, but like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want to sound entitled, but like, I mean, at this point, I honestly feel like you should have like 10K subs. I'm biased, of course, but you know what I mean? Like I don't even know how you did some of the in-car shots of you like driving at night, or the multiple camera angles of you talking to your homie, talking about should I call her? Like, bro, you get that shit in short films.
Work. Yeah, I know. I'm rewatching it, and I'm like, damn, this is like damn near short film level. Like,
yo, dead ass.
I really did my thing with this one. I'm telling you, that reel is coming, yo. That reel is coming. But what's it called? I would say probably like my first YouTube video. It's always just good to have like get the baseline understanding of just who I am. And then the last 3 videos that I put out, just everyone is not for you, and letting your full self die in order to be reborn, and then what makes us unique. Those 3, I think, deserve definitely more, all the love, and just because, yeah, man, there's just a level of thought, and like I said, I went through the whole like let me get a journal, let me write these thoughts out, let me really think this out, and yeah, I think that those are some ones that, if I had to say, biased, that deserve more love.
Fair. All right. So with that being said, of course, I'm going to link your channel in the description, but I'll also link those last 3 videos. Everyone watching this, please go click those links. Go watch these videos, because I mean, okay. You don't have to. You said what?
I was just saying, please validate me.
No, dead ass. Like, you don't have to be, for anyone watching this who's just like, okay, it's 2 people who are, doing the YouTube thing, and like, they're maybe a little self-congratulatory or whatever. Like, just to get on the soapbox for a minute, to put yourself out there and kind of write your script, film it. You've got actors now, like you've got people, just I do this shit just me. But you've got people who you're like, you have to go out on a limb and be like, hey,
literally
my YouTube video.
I should.
You know what I mean? So like, for you to like, you're really putting yourself out there, and the quality is way beyond what a lot of people are doing these days. People bite YouTube channels. People literally just re-upload TikToks and call it a day. Like, they don't give a fuck. But you can tell that you care, and you've been honing your craft. You've been asking me questions about, what editing software I use and all of those things. But you've got your own thing going on, and it deserves to be appreciated. If not now, in the future. Because you're going to continue, you're going to grow, you're going to keep going in the right direction. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that, bro.
And to your point of like the effort that goes in, like for this one shot, right, in the reel that will come out at some month on some day this year.
It'll come out before Blade.
It'll definitely be out before GTA as well. So.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
But for just one of these scenes, bro, I was in Virginia Beach, so the other side of the of the country.
Okay.
And then somebody drove out 2 hours just to be in the video for like 4 seconds, 5 seconds.
Crazy. Did you pay them? They did it for free,
bro.
They did it for the love.
I wanted to pay them. I was like, hey, I'll pay you. They were like, no, I just did it out of the goodness of my heart. I was like,
damn,
you are a saint. I was like, yo, you're a saint. You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to whoever.
I mean, obviously, I gave them like gas money, but like, they didn't. Other than that, like,
nah, that's love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm telling you, effort.
2 hours
effort has
work.
Yeah, effort has gone into it. I'm like, but we'll see.
dude, don't rush it. Like, don't
Yeah,
rush it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and also I think that also your content has high rewatchability, but the videos like where you're again, credit to you. You drive out into the desert and you set up your lighting. You know what I mean? And you got your book with you, and you're just kind of going through excerpts from chapters and stuff. Like, I don't know what time of day you be doing that, but I'm not gonna hold you, bro. Like, I get groceries delivered to my house. I don't even like going outside like that. For you to be, for you to be, you know, that dedicated to just get up and take us on journeys and deliver messages that, again, even if you don't agree with them, they are thought-provoking. They are genuine. It's not like there's a big corporation pushing an agenda. It is Tyrone Kent and his thought of the day, you know what I mean? And you package it in a way that's, at least for me, captivating enough to be like, all right, you know, I may not sleep. I commented on one of your videos. Like, I was kind of pissed that you posted it like right before bedtime.
I remember that comment. I remember that.
Yeah, because I mean, you really do have like the thoughts that keep me up at night. But the fact that you even put them out there lets people know, like, oh, you're not alone. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel unique, or you feel like you know, are worthless, or you have imposter syndrome, like, here's someone who has those things, puts it into words, and, you know, you guys can connect and kind of appreciate the fact that it's a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. You're not it's not an abnormality. It doesn't make you weird, doesn't make you different. It's just what most people go through. And I think that's dope.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I am going to immediately, after we get off of here, get to work. This is kind of like my week to really like pound the pavement. And I'm going to be really working hard and scheduling videos to come out for like weeks to come after this. Like, a bunch of videos, it's just going to be me in this black Nike hoodie because I recorded the same day.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my top priority, and I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to hop on here, talk with a complete stranger for all intents and purposes. It doesn't feel that way, but it is just kind of what it is. We've never met in person. I mean, I never had the chance to dap you up, but I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your content. Keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tyrone Kent is on YouTube. Subscribe to his shit. Turn on notifications. He is one of the most thought-provoking, deep creators out here. He really cares about his craft. He's out here editing, putting out short films for you motherfuckers. Please tune in.
Short films. Yep.
You know what I mean? You're gonna get an Oscar one day for best cinematography. Let's put it out there.
Hey, I appreciate, you know, the whole interview, and you got very good questions. You know what I mean? So I definitely enjoyed this whole back and forth. It was good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I know you're gonna do something immediately after this.
Yeah, might do some more filming. Yep.
There you go. So I'm gonna put this together, and I'm gonna find a way to share it to you, and then, you know, once we're both on agreement, we'll get cracking.
Alrighty.
Sir, thank you. Keep being great. So as you can see, that was a really nice conversation. Tyrone, I don't even know how he would like me to address him, but he is dope. His content is dope. I will link his stuff in the description. As we discussed, his last 3 videos, his latest 3 works, I will put in the description, as well as a link to his channel. Please show him love. Please like his stuff. Please subscribe to his channel. I think he's doing really good work over there, and I would love for him to continue to grow and to continue to see success along his YouTube journey. I think that not a lot of people are in a place where they can get as vulnerable as he does. And even so, I think that those few people, there are even fewer of those few people who would actually put themselves out there like that. And again, I mean, his stuff is good. It's really good. It is quality content that he works hard on, and I'm excited for what he has in the future. But thank you all for watching this video. I will continue to do things like this. I already have another couple channels that I wanted to look into. But yes, I just thank you so very much, everyone. Yeah. I'm out.